Hello everyone, EasyGoingMC back with another Minecraft tutorial. Today I'm going to be showcasing you a super fast Piglin Bartering farm that I recently designed. Before I begin, I would like just to give credit where credit is due. I based a major component of this farm, which I will indicate later on, based on the recent design that Logical Geek Boy featured in one of his SMP episodes, and I will link that down below. This is a faster version. I do use slightly different systems, but the overall mechanic that I'm using here is very similar, and I just wanted to preface this by giving him credit where credit's due, because the thing he created and using the overworld to process the items for Piglin Bartering is really cool. So let's get right into how this farm works. So the first thing you all want to know is how fast this farm is. This farm produces around 80,000 items per hour. So it's very fast. It uses approximately 24 piglins. Not approximately, it uses 24 piglins in fact. I just like to say approximately to sound smarter. But as we can see, the items are shot into the overworld by these piglins. We're standing precisely here, and they're throwing them directly towards us. That's enough to give it a tester. We'll let the piglins finish throwing gold, and then we'll go into the overworld to see how the items are processed. There we go. Let's go into the overworld. I spawned in here, that's okay. In the overworld, we have an item container system that processes the items as they get spit out of the portal, and then ships them over into a big storage system right here to process all your items. All the item filters are for my own purposes and organization. However, you could opt for a simpler storage system, but I'll go into more detail on that later. Overall, that's basically the whole farm. If now you want to skip right to the tutorial, the timestamp is in the description. But if you want to stick around and listen to some of the mechanics about Piglin Bartering, Nether portal chunk loading, as well as breaking down the rates into every single specific items, then stick around and listen. Those timestamps are also down in the description. First, let's talk about Piglin Bartering. So Piglin Bartering is quite a simple system. Essentially, you throw a piglin gold, and it picks it up. And 6 seconds later, it will spit out a random item from a long list of 18 different possible items you can get. In this case, we got spectral arrows, one of the most common items you can get out of this system. This means in order to make a very efficient Piglin Bartering setup, we want to make sure that every piglin gets a gold exactly 6 seconds after it picked up the last. That's why we use 4 droppers. With 24 piglins means that every second we should send 4 through, and this ensures that every single piglin is getting a new ingot approximately or every 6 seconds. With a little leeway, sometimes they don't pick it up correctly, but in the end it works out to be perfectly fine. Another important mechanic is that these guys throw it to wherever you're standing. So if I'm standing right here, we'll see that the piglin will throw it to me right over here. But if I stood over here, and as you can see earlier, it basically just throws it wherever you're standing. As you can see, some iron nuggets were thrown over here when I was standing here. So that's another important mechanic of this system, because you want them to throw it directly towards you so it goes through the portal. That's why you have to stand precisely in this spot, and you can't stand over here because then they won't throw it into the portal. And that's another important mechanic of Piglin Bartering. Now let's talk about Nether portal chunk loading, which is a very important component of this farm, and something I actually made a mistake on when I built this in my survival world. Which brings me to a point that if you do want to see this farm built in survival, the link to that episode is also in the description. But onto the important topic, Nether portal chunk loading. Essentially, Nether portals, whenever an item or player entity in that manner goes through it, it loads a certain amount of chunks. And to be precise, that is a 3x3 grid of chunks centered on the Nether portal. So as we can see, the Nether portal is in this chunk signified by the white. The red represents all the other chunks that are loaded by the Nether portal. Outside of this is not loaded. So say for example, when you build up your storage system, if the items did travel into this, they would just freeze here, they wouldn't move any farther, and the redstone wouldn't process. This is exactly what happened on my survival world. I didn't realize this at the time. I didn't really think about it when I was designing the farm in my survival world. So I had the items go through into a chunk that wasn't actually loaded, and they just got stuck there, and there's a mass amount of items built up, and I had to go manually sort them all afterwards. However, in this system, as you can see, the storage system is contained within this red area in this 3x3 grid. So thus, when we're designing the farm, it's very important to maximize the space. So you want to place the Nether portal upon which you process the items in the overworld at the edge of the chunk. That way you have approximately 2 chunks in order to extend your storage system in. Worst case, if you do want a bigger storage system, you could always just flip it and keep it going this way and then wrap it around. You do have lots of space. It is just important to note that your storage system has to be within this 3x3 grid centered on your nether portal when you're constructing your storage system if you want to modify this, because this is the one thing that can be modified from design. It's sort of up to you how you process the items. You can have, you know, just 15 double chests of no sorters, or you can do as many sorters as you want and have all this extra storage and shulker box loaders. It's as complicated as you want it to be. Let's now talk about the specific rates of every individual item in this farm. Obviously, the farm gets an overarching 80,000 items per hour, but you can get 18 unique items from Piglin Bartering. So let's take a look at what specifically rates you get of some of the more useful items. I'll show you guys all of them, but for example, you might not care too much about how many fire charges you get. You might care more about the gravel and the blackstone for that instance. So let's break it down. So first off, just ignore the hoppers. I'll explain these in a second. For blackstone, you'll get approximately 14.9 thousand per hour. Gravel, you'll get 14.3 thousand per hour. Spectral arrows at 11,000 per hour. Iron nuggets, 7.5 thousand per hour. Soul sand, 6,000 an hour. Nether brick, 5.7 thousand an hour. Nether quartz, 5.5 thousand an hour. Leather, 3.9 thousand per hour. An hour, yes. String, 3.7 thousand per hour. Crying obsidian, 2.5 thousand an hour. Obsidian, 1.2 thousand an hour. Fire charges, 1.1 thousand an hour. Ender pearls, 940 per hour. Iron boots, 300 for an hour. And this is the one case where I can't determine because Carpet Mod combined the water bottles and potion of fire resistance into a total of 550 potions per hour. My guess is you'll get a little more water bottles than fire resistance, though it doesn't really matter. These are some of the more useless items you'll get from this. In terms of splash potions of fire resistance, you'll get about 250 per hour of those. And then enchanted books, soul speed, 1, 2, and 3, you'll also get 150 per hour. The iron boots will come with any enchantment level of soul speed, so soul speed 1, 2, or 3 on it. Soul speed 3 is the max. This is a useless item. Probably the best thing you could do is to smelt it down into ironing nuggets. 300 per hour once again for those. Alright guys, now we've gone over some of the principal mechanics of this farm, such as nether portal loading, the piglin bartering, as well as the specific breakdown of items. Let's now get into the actual items of what you need to build the farm, which I'm sure you guys are dying to hear about. And let me tell you, it really isn't that much. To build the bartering setup itself, so specifically the items in the nether that you see right here, here's what you're going to need. So redstone wise, you're going to need 20 redstone dust, a few droppers, a few targets, a couple repeaters, comparators, hoppers, and then these building blocks you see right here. It's important to note that the glass does not have to be glass. Also, some of these building blocks can be glass because you can place redstone on glass now. But this makes the farm look nice, and this just adds a nice touch of the redstone line. So I would just do this. This is fairly cheap. And the obsidians for the portal. Also, you'll need 24 piglins. I'll show you how you can spawn those in. I would recommend building this in a crimson forest biome, because if you do that, the piglins just naturally spawn there. That or the nether waste, sort of up to you. You also need to name tag these. So you'll need 24 name tags so they don't despawn. You could also throw it a piece of armor and allow it to put it on. Then I don't think it would despawn, but name tags are your safest bet. In terms of the storage system on the other side of the portal, specifically, and a train is coming. Sorry about that, guys. I live right near a train. So to build the actual system that collects the items and processes, and this is required for any type of storage system you want. This is essentially the nether portal system and the water streams that capture the items. You'll need a stack and 14 glass, as well as these items you see right here, as well as a few water buckets. That's sort of the only one that's not numbered. If you do choose to build the same storage system setup I have, which I do recommend, and it allocates the correct number of hoppers for each item, which I'll specify in a little bit. These are the items you'll need right here. You'll also need a lot more hoppers and a lot more chests. I didn't put exact counts because once again, that's up to you. You could have 20 chests for every single slot, or you could have 2 chests for every slot. It's kind of up to you and how big you want your storage system to be and how much use you're going to get out of this farm. The only last thing to mention is how much gold does this actually require. So obviously you need 1 gold ingot every time you trade a piglin. So to run this for a full hour, you're going to need 14,400 gold. And I know that's a very daunting amount, but let me sort of frame how I would use this farm. So I would use this farm is I have a really efficient gold farm, let's say, and I AFK it for 8 hours overnight. I wake up, I come to my computer to check the rates, I craft it all in the gold ingots, then I conveniently drop them off like this with shulker boxes full of gold ingots just directly onto these hoppers I have laid out. I say it's around 14,000 gold. I turn this farm on, I AFK it for about an hour, I go get breakfast, take a shower, do whatever you do in the morning. Then by the time you come back, it's all been processed through the system, and you can turn your computer off before you go to work, so you don't have to worry about AFKing a system also all day, on top of AFKing all night, or you could go on your world to do other things if that makes sense. So this is a good system for if you want to process all your gold really fast, or if you have a ton of gold, and I mean you have like, you're getting 100,000 gold per hour or something crazy like that. This is a very fast system as it does process 14,000 ingots per hour, that's quite a lot. So yeah, it sort of works either way, but the way I use it is the first way where I can just process a bunch of gold really fast and not really have to worry about AFKing it too much. Let's now get into how to build this farm. Alright, let's begin the tutorial. One thing I forgot to mention is you do need 4 trapdoors of any type. A wooden type so you can flip it up and down without powering. Sorry I forgot that, guys, but I'm telling you now. Alright, let's get started. You can build this anywhere in the Nether. It does have to be in the Nether because otherwise the piglins will turn into zombified piglins, and then zombified piglins don't barter. I'm going to build it on the Nether roof. I would recommend just building this on the Nether roof in general because it'll make spawning some piglins in very easy, but you could build this in another terrain if you so choose. But if you can get on top of the roof, which it is really easy, I'll link methods to get on top and break bedrock down below. I would definitely recommend building on top of the bedrock roof as well as in a crimson forest or nether waste biome so we can get easy access to piglins. Alright, let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is your base surface, place 4 glass blocks just like so. Then what you want to do is just place 2 carpets on top of that. That's to basically prevent the piglins from pathfinding and jumping. The next thing you want to do is just place 4 trapdoors against the carpet. So make sure you're clicking that pixel like this, and then you want to flick them up just like so. Then you want to place a ring of glass around just like this. Then you want to place target blocks here, in the middle 2 blocks, and another target block here, and fill in the other 4 blocks with glass. Then you want to place a dropper right here, dropper, 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 and then just place some more glass. And then you can go ahead and just place a row of glass right here. Next, what you're going to want to do is you're going to place your nether portal in. So you want to go 1 block away from that glass. You want to place the 4 blocks, just matching it like so. Then you want to place 2 blocks on either end, just like that. Then you want to build it up and just match the top of it with the glass right there and just complete the portal. And I would just wait to light that until this part of the farm is complete. Next thing you want to do is just run a row of blocks right like so next to the target blocks, and then right here what you want to do is just extend this out just like so, just by a couple blocks. You want to place your comparator right here, and you want to place redstone dust, redstone dust. You want to place a repeater on full display right here, and you want to place another redstone dust right here, and then you want to just place redstone dust all the way around in a way where it's connecting to those target blocks just like so. The next thing you want to do is you're just going to place a block right here, and you want to place a block right here with the repeater on 1 tick. Then you just want to run this right to here just like so with the redstone dust all on that right there. Then you want to build up your AFK platform, so adjacent diagonally just like so, place 4 blocks, place another 4, and then when you AFK you're going to stand just right in the center of the blocks, roughly like this, in the center of the 4 blocks, which is kind of hard to do since it's an even number. The only other thing you want to do to complete the redstone system is to place a lever in, which will turn the clock on and off, and every second this is activated, 4 more items, 4 more gold will be spat out. Next, what you want to do is get 24 name tagged piglins inside here. A couple of notes about this. First, babies don't work. Second off, crossbows do work. However, if you think about it, where you're standing, they will be able to shoot you, so I wouldn't use crossbows. What you're really looking for is the guy with the swords, because if you're not wearing gold or you open a chest, they're going to aggro towards you, but if they have swords, they can't harm you. So try to get 24 of these sword guys. I'm not going to worry about that for the purpose of this tutorial, but try to get 24 of the sword guys. Sword piglins, sword-wielding piglins, whatever you choose. And a good way to get piglins in the Nether and easily get them is just to build a big platform on top of the bedrock ceiling of solid blocks, and this will allow piglins to spawn on top of it. I'm talking big, like 30 blocks by 30 blocks large. You can see my easygoing survival episode in the description, and I did this same exact process. And you can just go up and fly up and down and wait for mobs to spawn on it. And then every so often you just kill all the other mobs off, name tag the piglins, and lure them in there. And once again, I showed this process in detail on my Let's Play episode for you guys to check out in the description. But just get 24 piglins that are name tagged or ones that won't despawn in this system right here. With swords and babies, once again, I'm not going to worry about the crossbows for the purposes of the tutorial, but make sure you just use swords. Alright, the only other step is to place 4 hoppers on top of this like so, and then place 4 glass blocks right here to contain the gold as well as the piglins, but mainly the gold. Only other thing is you might want to add more hoppers. I only included 4 in the item count, but you can add more hoppers like this. You could also put chests. The easiest way I would recommend to distribute the gold once you finish the farm is just to fill shulker boxes of gold ingots and just come here and just place them directly on top, just like that. That means if you have 4 shulker boxes, you place 4 like this. You have 8, you place them like so, and just divvy up from there. That's sort of up to you, but that would definitely be the easiest way to do it in my opinion. Alright, now the only other step to do is of course grab our flint and steel and head into the overworld. Once there, here's what you want to do. Whatever the portal spawns, you might want to check this area out beforehand, but it really doesn't matter. I would just build the storage system up in the sky for ease of access. Just break the portal on the ground because you're going to move this probably in a different place. So you want to do it roughly in the same area, but as we discussed about nether portal chunk locations, what we're going to want to do is we're going to build this at the edge of a chunk. So this chunk right here looks good. So what you want to do is just bring it up a few blocks, or bring it up wherever you want your storage system to be. You want to keep it in the rough same area so the portals link. And what you want to do is you want to build a 4x3 portal. So you'll have 6 blocks on the bottom, and then you'll go up an additional 4 on top, 2, 3, 4, and then you'll fill that in. So the portal area itself is 4x3, just like so. When you go through, these two should link, as we can see right here. Now, if you do so choose, you want to note what specific side most of the items are tending to come out of, you can load some gold up and actually just test the system briefly. So just run it for a few seconds, let the piglins start throwing items through you, wait for them to stop throwing so all their items go through. There we go. Come through, and they went off on this side. It doesn't really matter since we have water streams on both. I'll even do it when it goes in this direction, even though the items are coming out this side in this video, just to show that it does not matter. So let's get into doing the item collection. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is just place a row of glass just coming down right here, and then another row right here on one side of your portal. I guess on the side that's in the other chunk that the portal is not in. So I'm actually going to get rid of our chunk boundaries just so it's a little less distracting. Then what you want to do is just build up like a containment chamber, just like so. So the items cannot fly anywhere, and they just fly right into the wall and land down in that area, which is where we're going to have a water stream. So then what you want to do is just wrap this system around. You might want to break that block. And you want to place an ice block right here of a slab. So you want to have them go like so, so the items flow into here. And then you can even have another ice block of a slab right here. Then what you want to do at the end of the portal, bring it down but leave a 1 block gap for items to flow through. Then just wrap it around just like so. Then you want to come in here, you might have to break back in, but just place a water bucket there and place some more water right here. It's not going to reach, so what you can do is just place an ice block there and place a slab right there. Place another water bucket here, and then extend this out and place your third water bucket right here. Then what you want to do is just do the same thing except on this side and just build up a containment chamber around the portal. However, most of the items should come out outside anyways. This is just to account for any glitchiness with portals. I have heard about some glitches with these, so we just want to be careful about that. And then that is actually your containment system all done. All your items should flow through out this line. And at this point, it's sort of up to you what you do with the items. You could just have them fall on the ground. You could just have them go into lava. You could also just have them go into an awesome storage system, which I'll show you how to build next if you so choose. But at this point, the farm itself is done. Also, as I did say, I was going to specifically mention where I got an idea from Logical Geek Boy's design, and this is it. It's the portal system of using the overworld to process items, since we can use water for the storage system. This makes it very easy, because in the Nether, when you have large quantities of items, you have to use slime blocks and weird systems to process the items. In this case, we just take them to the overworld and use water to easily sort them into their respective sorters. So that's why I wanted to talk about Logical Geek Boy, because this is the first time I saw someone using this, so I just wanted to give him credit. And that video, once again, is linked down below. But now, let's get into my storage system design. I'm back over at the original design to tell you what these hoppers mean, since you decided to stick around and build my storage system. So these hoppers are approximately how many hoppers you need, or how many like sections of filters you need to process the number of items. Hoppers can only process a certain amount of items per hour, and this is actually exceeded by many of these. The main reason why we have double and triple, because I think it's technically 9,000, is because sometimes, since you're trading so much, you'll get that time where all of a sudden you just get like 3 stacks of blackstone at once and you can't process that fast enough, and that will either be destroyed or thrown into overflow. So that's why we have an extra hopper when we don't technically need it. But basically the number of hoppers next to each item is how many slots you need. So 3 for these 3 items, 2 for these 6 items, and then just 1 hopper for each. And then you need approximately 3 or 4 hoppers for the unstackables from what I have found. But let's hop back over to the normal area where we're doing the tutorial to actually build that system up. Alright, so let's get going on the storage system. The first thing you want to do is, given that hopefully you put this portal on the edge of the chunk as instructed, you want to extend it off in the direction that it's like not on the edge of. So extend it off into this chunk, since these are the 2 chunks we're going to keep our storage system in so they stay loaded. The first thing we want to do is just take out 2 more blocks, and then we're actually going to place a chest right here. This will allow the items to get on the edge of the block, so they'll be picked up by hoppers right here. That's that mechanic in action. I'm going to get rid of these chunks. Then the next thing you want to do is just extend this from here by about 28 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. And as you can see, we did not breach that chunk. The next thing we want to do is just place a row of glass planes right here, just like so, as we can see. And there we go. And the next thing we want to do is just place a couple more glass blocks here, and then just extend this glass all the way down as well. And the final thing you're going to want to do is just extend your water streams. You'll have one right here flowing into the chest like that. And then whenever it runs out, just place your packed ice and slab and put another one right here and just bring that all the way to the end, just like so. At the end, it's sort of up to you what you do. So if you have extra items, there's 2 options on what you can do. I'm just going to spit them on the ground in this tutorial. But you could put them into lava, you could have extra overfill, or you could even cycle them around. So you could cycle them and then send them in through a slab right here, and then they would actually start cycling around in case some items weren't picked up on the first round. Because you will get a couple of items every now and again that don't get picked up by the hoppers if you get extraordinarily unlucky, I guess, and get one of the same item like back to back to back really fast. But honestly, I would just destroy them. It's like 5 items. You're going to get 80,000 items per hour. How many items do you really need? It's going to get you a double chest for like of some of the items so easily. So don't worry about it. It's not too big of a deal. Alright, so let's do the next step, which is place a row of hoppers here, as well as place a row of hoppers here. And this is the item filter, and from here, it's sort of up to you after you filter out the items what you want to do. I'm just going to put them in to an item tracker for the carpet mod, but you do want to put them in the chests. And you just want to place 3 row hoppers all facing in this direction, just like this, all the way down the line until you get to this mark right here. Alright, let's now place your item filter in. So it's a classic Impulse SV design. I'm sure most of you guys have built one of these before. This is the block pattern for reference right here. That's what it looks like. Then your redstone components are a torch here, as follows: a repeater facing into that torch, or the block that the torch is on, like this. 3 redstone dust here, then a comparator. In this top hopper, what you're going to load up is 4 filter items. I recommend you rename a random item and then throw away all the copies. This is important to prevent it from overflowing. And then you want to place the item that you're filtering in right here. And you'll get the counts of how many items you need to filter if you go back and check just a couple minutes ago when I told you the hopper counts for every single item for this specific storage system and bartering setup. I'm just going to show you one slice since it's largely repetitive for that. I don't need to go through and blaze all these blocks in for you all. The only other thing to note is you do need to leave this hopper blank, so don't run this guy into a chest, just leave this guy in the air. It's part of the filter, but the 3rd hopper down you can start placing in the chest. These are item counters using the carpet mod, very useful tool. So yeah, that's what I'm doing here. But then you can obviously, the more chests you want, you can just extend this guy down just like so. But that's sort of up to you for how many chests you want. I use 6 for every slice of my survival world, and that's more than enough for me so far. So I might add more, but for now, seems alright. So it seems like a decent amount of storage system. 6 double chests for every item. Up to 18 items, chests for 1 item for the higher quantity ones. Anyway guys, that's going to do it for me. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. As always, the world download is in the description if you need any farther help. I really hope you guys learned something new about some of the mechanics today. I learned a lot when I was designing this farm and just really wanted to share this with you guys. If you're interested, I'm constantly coming out with tutorials like this. I have a Guardian Farm tutorial coming up if that's something that's interesting to you guys. So if those sound interesting, once I also have a Let's Play as I mentioned, so if any of that's interesting to you guys, and yeah, check out my channel I guess, but if you don't want to, then I hope you enjoyed this video at least. Other than that guys, I hope you have an easygoing day, and I'll catch you all later. And as always, I'm available in the Discord server for help, or drop a comment down below, and I'll hopefully speedily reply to you. Anyways guys, see you later. Have an easygoing day once again.